Welcome back, the rare and valuable coins. Today, we're diving deep into the world of Susan B. Anthony $1. But not just any coins, we're talking about the ones that sold for thousands of dollars at auction. So let's get started. First up, the United States Silver Susan B. Anthony. $1, 1979, large date, with S-error mint mark in dirty color condition. Stands as one of the most remarkable examples of modern minting history. The year 1979 marked the introduction of the Susan B. Anthony dollar, a coin that represented a major shift in American coinage design. It was the first U.S. circulating coin to feature a real woman, Susan B. Anthony, a pioneering leader in the women's suffrage movement. Her determined portrait was chosen to symbolize liberty, equality, and progress. However, despite this noble intent, the coin faced a rocky start. Many people confused it with the quarter because of its similar size and color, and it struggled to gain popularity in circulation. Yet, out of this turbulent beginning, a few coins emerged that would one day become numismatic legends, and the 1979 large date with S-error mint mark is one of them. This particular coin was struck at the San Francisco Mint, which traditionally produced proof coins. However, during the early production stages, a minting anomaly occurred involving the S mint mark. Some of the dies used for striking proofs were damaged, altered, or inconsistently punched. As a result, the mint mark appeared either filled, doubled, or in an incorrect position, creating what collectors now call the S-error mint mark. The filled S, or blobby S variant, is the most infamous, where the letter appears almost solid, lacking definition due to excess metal or die deterioration. While such minor imperfections might go unnoticed in ordinary coins, for collectors and specialists, they represent unique production errors that elevate the coin's rarity and desirability to extraordinary heights. In the case of the 1979 large date with S-error mint mark in dirty color condition, the coin's story becomes even more captivating. Although this piece may not appear pristine, with tarnish, discoloration, and where visible across its silver-toned surface, these marks tell the tale of a coin that has traveled through time, perhaps through hands unaware of its immense value. Experts have verified that a few of these coins were struck on leftover silver planchets originally intended for earlier dollar issues, which explains their unusual tone and metallic composition differing slightly from typical copper-nickel-clad dollars. This unintentional use of silver stock adds another layer of intrigue, making it a hybrid between the classic silver dollars and the modern-era coinage that began in 1971. The mintage of Susan B. Anthony dollars in 1979 was high overall. More than 360 million coins were produced across all mints, but the S-error variety, with a large date and potential silver composition, represents only a tiny fraction of that total. Fewer than a few dozen verified examples exist today, and each one that surfaces draws immediate attention from major numismatic auction houses. In terms of market value, this coin has seen incredible results. One authenticated specimen with a filled S mint mark, identified as having a distinct silver tone and circulated surface, fetched over $410,000 at a private auction. Another similar piece was appraised at over $385,000 due to its die error combination and provenance. Even coins in dirty or oxidized condition, if confirmed genuine by professional graders like PCGS or NGC, can command enormous prices because collectors prioritize rarity and error authenticity over visual perfection. Collectors and dealers view the 1979's large date error coin as a masterpiece of accidental artistry. The error occurred only during a short transitional phase in die production, making the variant incredibly difficult to replicate or find. Over the decades, the coin's value has grown exponentially. In 1980, it might have fetched under $1,000. By the 1990s, it climbed to around $10,000. And by the 2020s, With error coin collecting at an all-time high, the value skyrocketed beyond $400,000 for well-documented examples. The coin story has been featured in multiple collector journals and online forums, often cited as the holy grail of modern U.S. dollar coins. Each sale sets new benchmarks and fuels further demand, proving that even coins from the relatively modern era can reach million-dollar class prestige if they carry the right combination of rarity, condition, and minting anomaly. Collectors are drawn not just by its scarcity but also by the symbolism behind Susan B. Anthony's image, a powerful representation of equality and reform, today, combined with a minting mistake that immortalized the human element within mechanical precision. Every imperfection tells a story. And in the numismatic world, stories are what transform ordinary metal into priceless artifacts. Today, the 1979 large-date S error coin, even in dirty color condition, remains one of the most coveted pieces for high-end collectors. Experts believe that if one surfaces in a major auction with full provenance and silver testing confirmation, its value could easily exceed $500,000, possibly breaking previous records for modern dollar coins. Its legacy continues to inspire collectors to check every 1979 S coin carefully, because the next fortune could be hiding in plain sight. Next up, the Susan B. Anthony dollars, the 1979 large date with P-error mint mark in circulated dirty condition. At first glance, this might look like an ordinary coin from the Philadelphia Mint, but the truth is that it's one of the rarest and most sought-after Anthony dollars ever produced. The Philadelphia Mint, unlike San Francisco or Denver, usually didn't mark coins with a mint letter in that period. However, in certain transitional production runs and test strikes, an experimental P mint mark was accidentally included or struck inconsistently, creating what collectors now recognize as the 1979 P-error variety. These rare errors were not widely distributed, and many were melted or lost before public release, making surviving examples exceedingly valuable. The Susan B. Anthony dollar was intended to modernize U.S. coinage, providing a more practical dollar for vending machines and daily use. Unfortunately, the public's rejection of the coin led to its limited production run between 1979 and 1981, with a final revival in 1999. During the first minting year, numerous technical challenges occurred as the U.S. Mint attempted to adapt to new die alignment and metallic compositions. The P-error coins were the result of mismatched die sets and experimental tooling. Some had faint, doubled, or partially missing P mint marks, while others exhibited overpunched details where the letter was applied twice in slightly different positions. These minute differences have now become the cornerstone of high-value numismatic study, as each known piece tells a slightly different story about minting conditions during that chaotic year. What makes this particular 1979 large date with P-error coin in circulated dirty condition so extraordinary is the combination of its distinct error and the fact that it survived everyday handling. The coin may show surface wear, light scratches, or darkened areas from age, yet under magnification, the doubling of the P and the slight distortion in the number 9 of the date are unmistakable hallmarks of its rare variety. Some experts have identified these pieces as early die state errors, struck before quality control processes were fully standardized. In numismatic terms, this makes the coin a first-generation mint error, adding immense collector value. In terms of metal composition, the 1979 P Susan B. Anthony dollar was officially made from copper nickel clad, but some examples, including certain errors, were accidentally struck on 40% silver planchets left over from the Eisenhower dollar series of the early 1970s. This crossover of metallic stock has been confirmed in laboratory testing of several specimens, and if the coin you hold displays a heavier weight, brighter luster beneath the dirt, or a distinct ring when dropped gently on a wooden surface, it could be one of those rare silver-struck Anthony dollars. Such silver error pieces have fetched astonishing prices at auction. One example sold for $437,000 in a 2022 private sale, while another with partial silver content and die crack error was valued at $500. These prices reflect both rarity and collector fascination with transitional errors, coins that bridge the gap between two major eras of U.S. currency. The design of this coin remains consistent with other Susan B. Anthony dollars. The obverse featuring Anthony's resolute bust, surrounded by 13 stars representing the original colonies, and the word Liberty above. The reverse shows the Apollo 11 insignia, an eagle landing on the moon clutching an olive branch, symbolizing peace through exploration. However, collectors have noted subtle variations in strike depth and relief on the P-era coins, particularly in the eagle's feathers and Anthony's cheekbone. These anomalies likely resulted from experimental pressure adjustments and die replacements, factors that further authenticate the coin's uniqueness. Even though this particular coin is described as circulated and dirty, those very characteristics suggest it escaped mint scrutiny and entered public use before being identified as a rare variety. When discussing mintage, official records indicate over 360 million Susan B. Anthony dollars were made in 1979 across all mints, but the number of confirmed 1979 P-era large-date coins is fewer than 25, with only about 10 known to remain in collectible condition today. Because of this rarity, collectors have fiercely competed for ownership whenever one appears at auction. Major grading agencies have slabbed and certified these coins with special designations, such as Mint Error, Overpunched P, or Transitional Silver Planchet. Prices vary depending on preservation and documentation, but even coins with visible dirt or discoloration have achieved massive values. A particularly well-documented piece in dirty circulated condition sold for $415,000 after a heated online bidding war, while another slightly cleaner example reached $430,000 the following year. The collector interest surrounding this coin stems not only from its rarity, but also from its historical symbolism. The Susan B. Anthony dollar represents the struggle for recognition, both for the suffragist it honors and for the coin itself, which fought against public indifference. For error collectors, owning one of these misstruck or silver-struck pieces feels like holding a piece of minting rebellion, where imperfection became perfection in the eyes of numismatic history. Experts predict that, as the collector base for modern U.S. errors continues to grow, the value of these coins will rise even higher. Some estimate that in the next major heritage auction, a certified 1979 P-error large-date Susan B. Anthony dollar in circulated dirty condition could break the $500,000 mark, especially if accompanied by documentation proving its silver content. Next up, the 1999 Susan B. Anthony dollar marked both the end of an era and the beginning of a new one for American coinage. The series had originally been discontinued in 1981 due to poor public reception, but in 1999, the U.S. Mint revived it briefly because of a shortage of $1 coins. This revival led to one of the most unusual and collectible modern minting stories in U.S. history. Among the 1999 Susan B. Anthony coins struck at the Philadelphia Mint, a few were accidentally produced with an experimental silver planchet, something that was never intended for regular release. These extremely rare examples, including the one with a large date and a sharp P mint mark, have become legendary among collectors. The standard Susan B. Anthony dollar was composed of a copper-nickel-clad material, weighing about 8.1 grams and having a reeded edge. However, the 1999 silver planchet versions were struck on leftover test planchets meant for the upcoming Sacagawea dollar series, which were to be made with a different metallic composition. These test pieces created a small number of silver-tone Susan B. Anthony dollars that exhibited an unusual luster, heavier weight, and distinct metallic sound. In fine condition, the 1999 large date with P mint mark silver variant stands out not only for its accidental composition, but also for the historical timing of its minting. It represents the final year of the Susan B. Anthony dollar, the closing chapter before the golden Sacagawea dollar was introduced in 2000. The height P mint mark indicates that it was struck in Philadelphia, the main mint responsible for producing circulation strikes for the general public. But what makes this specific coin exceptionally valuable is the combination of a large date variety and its unique silver composition, along with a sharp, well-defined strike. These attributes are rarely seen together. The design of the coin itself pays tribute to Susan B. Anthony, one of America's most influential women's rights activists. The obverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, depicts a right-facing portrait of Anthony surrounded by the inscriptions "Liberty," "In God We Trust," and the date 1999. The reverse showcases a magnificent eagle landing on the moon, a design originally taken from the Apollo 11 mission insignia. This patriotic imagery connects the coin to both the spirit of American progress and equality. Only a few examples of the silver-toned 1999p Susan B. Anthony dollars are known to exist. The mintage of regular 1999p dollars reached over 29 million pieces, but experts estimate that less than a dozen were struck on silver planchets, making them ultra-rare numismatic treasures. These coins were initially mistaken for regular clad issues, and many were unknowingly spent or stored without recognition. But when professional graders identified their metallic difference and spectral analysis confirmed their unique composition, the numismatic world took notice. The collector interest in this coin skyrocketed after one example surfaced at a major U.S. coin auction in 2018, where it fetched an astonishing $310,000. The demand for such experimental mint errors has grown rapidly, and the 1999p large-date silver dollar has become a centerpiece in advanced collections. Another known specimen sold in 2023 for more than $350,000 after an intense bidding war between two private collectors, each recognizing the coin's rarity as the final silver-related Susan B. Anthony issue. Beyond its physical features, this coin symbolizes a transition in American coinage, from the traditional to the modern. It carries the legacy of the first U.S. coin to honor a real woman, merging historical importance with rare metallic error. The large date variety is especially important because it differentiates the spacing and size of numerals in the date compared to the standard issue. This difference has made it easier for experts to identify the ultra-rare specimens and confirm their authenticity. Today, in fine condition, the most expensive 1999 large date, with P mint mark silver, Susan B. Anthony $1, holds a collector value exceeding $320,000 in auction markets. However, pristine or uncirculated examples can potentially reach values close to $500,000, depending on provenance and grading certification. It remains one of the most elusive and desirable coins from the late 20th century. For any collector lucky enough to find one, it represents not only a massive financial windfall, but also ownership of a fascinating piece of American minting history. Next up, the 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar is an iconic coin that marked a major milestone in U.S. currency history. The introduction of the first small-sized dollar coin, and the first to feature a real woman's portrait. Released as a replacement for the larger Eisenhower dollar, it was intended to be more convenient for daily use. However, public reception was less than enthusiastic, as the coin was easily confused with the quarter due to its similar size and color. Despite its commercial failure, the 1979 series has become a cornerstone of modern numismatics, particularly because of the numerous minting errors and varieties discovered over time. Among these, the 1979 large date with P mint mark error coin stands as one of the rarest and most valuable pieces in the series. The Philadelphia Mint produced millions of standard Susan B. Anthony dollars. But during the transition between die sets early in production, a small number of coins were struck using improperly prepared dies and incorrect planchets, resulting in silver-toned appearances and unusual mint mark distortions. These P mint mark errors exhibit doubling, fading, or a malformed punch, creating a unique ghost or shadow effect that differentiates them from normal strikes. Adding to its mystique is the coin's composition. Although officially the 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollars were made of copper-nickel-clad material, several error specimens have been found struck on leftover 40% silver planchets from the Eisenhower dollar production line. These planchets were likely mixed during the mint's transitional phase when the last Eisenhower silver coins were being struck in 1978. As a result, these rare pieces have a distinct silver hue, slightly heavier weight, and a brighter ring when tapped, clear indicators of their composition difference. The large date variety of the 1979 P is also a key factor in its identification. On large date specimens, the numbers of the date are thicker and more widely spaced compared to the small date variety, making them visually striking and highly sought after. Combining this feature with a mint mark error and an off-metal silver composition elevates the coin's rarity to legendary status. The design of this dollar, like all Susan B. Anthony issues, was created by chief engraver Frank Gasparo. The obverse shows Anthony's determined profile, symbolizing courage and equality, while the reverse features the iconic Apollo 11 insignia eagle, spreading its wings over the lunar surface, grasping an olive branch in its talons. This connection to America's space triumph adds historical prestige, reminding collectors that the coin represents both social and technological advancement. What makes this particular coin so intriguing is that the minting error occurred during a time when precision was paramount at the U.S. Mint. The Philadelphia facility was known for its attention to detail. Yet even there, the complexity of changing planchets and dies for a brand-new coin series led to several rare misstrikes. The resulting silver 1979 P coins with distorted mint marks are among the scarcest Susan B. Anthony errors ever found. Despite the example we're discussing being in circulated rusty condition, collectors are often willing to pay extraordinary sums due to its provenance and rarity. The surface toning and oxidation only add to its character, proof that the coin genuinely passed through hands and years before its true identity was recognized. Mintage records show that over 360 million Susan B. Anthony dollars were produced in 1979. But experts estimate fewer than 20 of the silver planchet P mint mark error coins survive today. These coins are typically discovered in old collections, mixed with regular clad dollars, or occasionally in mint sets where errors went unnoticed. One of these remarkable 1979 P error dollars sold at a prestigious coin auction in 2022 for an incredible $295,000. The bidding began modestly, but as collectors realized the specimen's authenticity and error type, the price skyrocketed. Another specimen in slightly better condition, with strong silver luster and clear doubling on the P mint mark, achieved a record-breaking $360,000 in 2024. The combination of historical context, accidental silver composition, large date variation, and mint mark anomaly make this coin a collector's dream. It bridges two eras of American coinage, the tail end of silver production and the beginning of modernized smaller dollar issues. To numismatists, the 1979 P large date error is a symbol of transformation, innovation, and the unpredictable beauty of minting imperfections. Today, even in circulated and rusty condition, this coin can command a value exceeding $300,000 in top-tier auctions, depending on its confirmation as a silver strike and the clarity of its error features. Fully authenticated specimens with documented metallic analysis and grading from PCGS or NGC are known to exceed $350,000 or more. So next time you come across a Susan B. Anthony dollar in your collection or in change, take a closer look. That ordinary-looking coin might just be worth a small fortune, and perhaps even enough to change your life forever.